Tonight, we're taking an in-depth look at new information recently released in a deadly crash from back in 2019 involving a bus driving adults with special needs. Kevin LaCroix and Sherry DiPetrillo were both killed as a result of this crash. 7 others were hurt. Fox Carolina's Zach Prelutsky live in our newsroom tonight. Now, Zach, you went through these hundreds of pages of reports, interviews, and new photos released by the NTSB, giving some new perspective of this investigation. So what did we learn?
Well, Cody, the NTSB released 43 different items, all relating to their investigation of that crash. And in those, we learned toxicology test results, how fast both the SUV and bus were going just moments before impact, and more. Now, one thing we are still waiting to learn at this time is what was the cause of that deadly crash. These photos show the aftermath of a deadly accident on US 76 in Belton that happened in December of 2019. It's part of a docket released this month by the NTSB, who is investigating the crash involving an SUV and a passenger bus carrying 8 people, some of which had special needs. According to the crash summary report, Sherry DiPetrillo crossed over the center line of the 2-lane highway in her SUV and collided with the front left corner of the bus. Kevin LaCroix, who was sitting behind the driver, was killed. Everyone else on the bus was taken to the hospital with injuries. Here's what a man who lives near the scene told Fox Carolina what he heard and saw back in 2019.
Big boom, like louder than a blowout. I just heard the crash, heard them hit. And didn't know for sure what it was till I got up where I could see the highway.
As part of the investigation, we now know that data from DiPetrillo's car shows it was going about 30 miles over the speed limit, just seconds before the crash. A witness who was driving behind her that day told the NTSB he thought she was impaired because of how fast and erratic she was driving. Toxicology testing from SLED found no evidence of illegal drugs or alcohol in DiPetrillo's system. As part of the investigation, the NTSB has looked through driving, medical, phone records, and more. A 10-year accident history from the beginning of 2010 through September of 2019 on that stretch of US 76 showed there were 35 crashes, but none of those crashes were head-on collisions like the crash in December of 2019. In an interview with the NTSB, the driver of the bus said they did not have time to avoid the crash after the SUV came into their lane. Final report from the NTSB on this crash has not been made public yet. There is no timeline when that would be done or released, but the NTSB says typically final reports are published several weeks after being approved by their safety board. We do have a link inside the As Seen On section of our free Fox Carolina News app of that public docket. In the newsroom, Zach Prelutsky. Cody, back to you.